So as you can see, there's all sorts of trickery going on. We've got bees in space, we've got flies in space, mice in space, hands in space, and water bubbles in space. Water bubbles in space. Now guys, this footage was from their spacewalks. This is not animated or fault. This is all from their own spacewalks. I mean, the one with the mouse on, that was meant to be a booster rocket attachment or something like that, and that was supposed to be live in space, and there's a mouse. Now come on guys, it was probably Mickey, you know. Does anybody remember the Challenger explosion? It was 1986. I remember it well. I was a kid. It was all over the TV. If you're a Freemason Luciferian and you haven't been to space self-admittedly and you haven't done all these things, why would you send up Masonic crew members to their deaths? You wouldn't, because you know it's all a scam. You know these rockets are empty. You know there's no humans in these rockets. That's the only reason why you do it. So what you've got to do then is convince the people that people did die. And they did a great job, because I was convinced. I felt really sorry for them. Dramatic in the sense that it was believable. It was a bit like 9/11 when they did that. Now I know 9/11 really happened, but what I'm saying is the sensationalism that was around 9/11 was the same sensationalism that was around this. This would have been a precursor. I mean, everybody's seen these images. Everybody in the world seen these images. The people that were supposed to have died apparently are not dead. The only one they don't have is this guy here with the question mark. They don't know where he is, but they know where the rest of them are. They're teachers, lawyers, sports, gym specialists. I mean, they all have all their own careers. I think this one here has her own show of some sort. She's a bit famous, this one. She does stuff. She hosts some show or something. I'm not too sure. I came across this about 10 years ago. And at the time, I didn't believe what I believe now. So my attitude was, well, so okay, they faked it. They faked that they're still alive. Who cares? Who really cares in the long scheme of things? But you should care, because it's just another demonstration that they've been lying to you. These were all the people that were supposed to be killed on that Challenger explosion, and the whole nation, the whole world was in mourning for these heroes that died in 1986. But they're not dead. They're all kicking around. Sharon Krista McAuliffe. There's this guy here. I'm a professional artist, and I can tell you that this is the same person. I know by the Adam's apple. There. And there. Of course, the rest of the features. But I mean, when you want to get really into detail and you're looking for proper detail, that's the same ear. It's the same nose. It's just a bit fatter here, and the nose never stops growing. It's like the ears. That's why when men and women as well get older, you'll see they swinging around and they've got big noses. We could tell by the teeth as well, but we can't see all of the teeth. But these teeth are definitely the same shape there as these teeth here. Okay, there's no doubt in my mind that this is the same person. This is the same person as well. Okay, it's the same fatness of head. It's just that the hair here covers it, right? But if this guy was bald and he's younger, remember, if he was bald, it's the same guy. I could just tell by the chin, the bottom lip, the teeth. Although we can't really see his teeth too well on this one, but the split there is the same split here. Okay, it's the same guy. This is definitely the same guy. The indentation on the nose here. And we see the same indentation on the nose here. It's just more pronounced. As you get older, your creases and your wrinkles and dinkles and everything else, they become more pronounced. It is what it is. Okay, the same shape of eyebrow. This eyebrow here, this one over here, it's all the same. Okay. This one, you can tell she's aged a lot, but you can tell clearly it's the same person. The nose, the way it's got a slight turn up, and the sort of crease at the edge of the lip, sort of Joker-ish. It sort of goes up a little bit. We can see the same here. Judith Resnick. This one. The brow ridge. It's the brow ridge that gives it away. Now he's looking up in the older photograph. He's looking up slightly. And in this one he's looking down. If we could get them faces balanced, we could see that they're identical. But the jowls here at the side of the mouth are the same, just more refined here. We have all of the Challenger crew except for one. This guy here at the back. All the rest are accounted for. They're all alive and well and all have good jobs and everything else. We have to face the reality here between flies and spiders and mice and bubbles and everything in space that's supposed to be live feeds from space. Even at the time you could say, well, it wouldn't have been a live feed, but a recorded feed anyway, with the intention of showing the public. And we cannot get these things in space, or so-called space. Now we have them telling us that these people died and they got the sympathy of the entire nation, the entire world. And it turns out that these people are alive and well and all have great jobs and are having a great time being Masons. Now there's a lot more I could have covered in this first hour in regards to the lies from NASA, the false footage from NASA and everything else. Now we're going to show a little bit more in the next section in regards to the live streams from the International Space Station and how they use green screens and some of the blips and errors that they've made. That'll be in the second part. But the second part is mostly going to focus on the NASA declassified papers that were discovered in 2015. And now they spread everywhere amongst the community. And we can see clearly within these declassified papers that they're telling us certain things that they shouldn't be telling us. Hence the reason why they were classified in the first place. So again, if you've stayed this far, you're an absolute legend. We're going to learn a lot more in the second half. But just to do a quick recap, we found out in this first half who's involved in NASA, what they're involved in, that they're all 33rd, 32nd, 31st and 30th degree Freemasons. And at that level, you've got to be worshipping Lucifer. We found out that they cannot leave low Earth orbit, and it was their own words. We found out from Buzz Aldrin that he says, in his own words, we never actually made it to the moon. We've seen mice in space, we've seen flies, we've seen bees, we've seen bubbles, we've seen all sorts. We've seen cables connected to people and people disappearing on the green screen and fading out. We've seen it all. At this stage of the video, I just want to remind people that this is none of my opinion. None of this is my opinion. I am showing you all facts. I'm showing you all their own declarations. I'm showing you the declaration from Albert Pike, Morals and Dogma. We've seen their own declaration to Lucifer. The reason why this first half took so long, and I haven't even told you half of the information. This video is a long video, but it could have been a lot longer. Half the stuff, as I said earlier on, you cannot find on the internet anymore. Well, you can find it, but you've got to use different search engines and you've got to dig deep to get it because it's been hidden It's been hidden, and this is why people cannot get the truth. If you want to look up strange anomalies in space, International Space Station and stuff, you will find them. If you really want to find them, you'll find them. But although this video has been a bit long so far, I've really just dusted over the top of it all. I've opened up doorways slightly for everybody here to go and enter that doorway themselves and start to check up on things that I've said. Or if you want to look into this Challenger hoax where they say they're all dead but they're not dead, or if you want to go and look at mice in space, you can find out why. If you want to go and find out, you know, you can search everything I've told you here. So I'm quite satisfied that I've done a good job so far in the first half at demonstrating that NASA are nothing but Freemasonic liars, manipulators. And the fundamental reason for this is not for money, it's for control. He who can control the information can control the masses. Now, the information that they're giving us is in line with their fellow Masons, Darwin's theory of evolution, because basically they're agreeing with him. Big Bang, big massive universe, millions upon billions of solar systems, and we're just one of them billions upon billions of solar systems, and within that solar system we're just a little tiny little speck, insignificant in the broad scheme of things. And that's exactly what evolution teaches. So here I am sitting in the International Space Station, and I can tell you it's quite real. It truly is quite real. It's fantastic. Unbelievable. I'm only sorry I didn't get to see any of the crew there. So, green screen technology, and it's not really, well, it is technology, but I mean, the green screen in itself is not technology. It's just a green sheet, bed sheet type thing. And I don't use it that often. I used it on this occasion just to show you that what a couple of million quid and a bigger room, a bigger studio, 4 or 5 assistants, the top computers, the top green screens that don't have any creases in them, and all the other technology. I guarantee you I could make you believe that I was in the International Space Station. Now, there's many ways that they do it, but green screen is the fundamental way, as we're going to see in these couple of little clips here that I'm going to show you.
Welcome to Space Cadets. It's Space Gym, but not as you know it. So what are we trying to achieve here? We have a 2-part mission statement. Part 1, we must convince a group of people that a large field a stone's throw from Ipswich is in fact a Russian space training facility. Part 2, we must convince this same group of people we're going to put in a shuttle, blast them into space for 5 days, where they'll make history as Britain's first televised space tourists, when in fact they will be in this high-tech shuttle simulator based on genuine NASA blueprints in this aircraft hangar here in that same field near Ipswich. Now, if they last the full 5-day mission without rumbling us, they'll each walk away with a bundle of cash. This is the most elaborate and expensive hoax in British TV history. So what could possibly go wrong?
We have a problem.
fake ass shit. Yeah, you're selling space. Great flip.
Amazing. I mean, this is even better than I dreamed. I look out the window and it's all so unbelievable.
Well, when we look out the window, Emerson, the thing that we see and notice the most is planet Earth. Some of our best windows face the Earth, and it's very blue.
Hey, look, this pen is floating. How crazy is that?
Slave your ass off to your wife and your mother.
You don't have to shout, Raj. It's not like I'm an astronaut floating around in outer space. So wait, I am.
So, is it everything you hoped it would be?
It's better. I wake up every morning and I just can't believe I'm on this incredible adventure.
Well, most fun is actually waking up every single morning and realizing that I am still here on the space station. I mean, I grew up as a scientist, and then I was really excited about trying to be an astronaut. Became an astronaut, but still, part of you just doesn't believe that you'd really get to live in space.
Weightless. Free orbit. Just where are we? You mean this thing is waking? We're... No, sir. Not me. Nobody ever told me this was practical. Turn this thing around, you hear? Take me back. I ain't going. That's just to look at. I'm sick.
Take one of these pills. It'll settle your stomach.
So we can see where NASA heavily relies on green screen technology. Now this green screen technology is also used when they're supposedly in the ISIS. It is a full mock-up, size of the room that they're in and the windows that they're looking at. The rest of it's not real. They always just show you sort of one cabin and then there's like a doorway at the end, or maybe there's a window or something. This is what they always show you. And when they look at the window, or if it's a live feed, and that's a live feed, they only show you they never show you the full Earth, okay? Never ever. They only show you a section of the Earth. So there's going to be a couple of things that I want to pick up on. Now listen guys, in preparation for this video, literally 15 minutes ago, I just got myself a cup of tea, okay? And while I was having a cup of tea, I went on to NASA live stream. Now it's dated, I'll show you the date and everything. I went on to NASA live stream and I already caught them acting the monkey. Green thing, it's purposely designed for green screen effects, bringing the apple in and whatever. You can stick pretty much anything to it as long as it's not so heavy. That's why they always use stuff like teddy bears, which you're about to see now. And I'm going to show it. Now this was a live today, okay? While I was researching for this video, and I caught NASA again. After a few minutes, I just caught them. I'm going to show you. God forgive me, but this one is goofy looking. Look at it. Looks like a robot. Yeah, she's messing around with the teddy bear. But look down here. See? See the wire? See the green screen? The green screen blocks it from her red t-shirt, whatever it is. It goes over her arm, right? But with the slip of her hand, she just, knocks it back down again. The second one I seen was when I was looking to show you how a NASA live feed goes. So I'll stick, I think it's this one. Yeah, it's this one. So they never show you the full Earth. They always just show you a section of the top of it. Now notice what's happening here, okay? The stars are moving up, but none of them are twinkling. Nothing's happening. There's no life in this background. It's almost like a picture, and it is. There's no twinkling. There's nothing. Alright? Nothing. They've got a little bit of movement down here, and that's computer generated graphics. And it's probably a loop. You see these sort of this misty section here? Oh, they're changing. Oh, they're changing direction. So let's have a look at what they're going to do now. And this was live. I'll show you. I'll show you in a minute. There, it's live now. I was live about 15 minutes ago. Always catch these kind of things. Always catch these kind of things. Right, so here we are back again with this madness. And you see this movement on the bottom? That's not me changing. That was them changing it, right? Now, no thunderstorms. Nothing. Not one thunderstorm. Not one satellite. And they're supposed to be, what was it, 4,550? They've got a little bit of green mist running over the top. Little bit of movement down here. This is all fake green. Let's take a look at the stars. Guys, that might as well be a photograph. Nothing's happening there. There's nothing. There's no twinkling. Nothing. Guys, we're being ripped off. Is there being ripped off? Is there being ripped off? I don't know any other way to tell you that you're being ripped off. And this is supposed to be a NASA live feed. Come on, guys, give me a break. Now, I think I got another one here. Aha, yeah, right. So, this is a typical of their live feeds. And again, no movement in the clouds. No thunderstorms. You Google how many thunderstorms on Earth every day. It's going to run into the thousands. Let's take a look at this baloney. That's nighttime baloney. And all they have to do is just nothing really for nighttime. Okay, I'll just let that go there because I know I was looking for specific videos. These two moon clouds with our fake teddy bear. Right, we don't want to see you again. Right. Yeah. Right, okay, so this is it here. This was their second one. Now watch what happens here, right? You see how fast the stars are dropping down. We never see this at night time. How come, if this is a live feed, that we don't actually see the stars moving at this speed across the sky? Do you understand? It's nonsense. Now look, there's a star inside. There's a star going down through the atmosphere. It's nearly in. Look at the top. See it? It's dropped off. Now look at the next one here, just before we come to this orange band. We'll follow its progress. Oh, it's going through the... yep, it's jumped through the atmosphere. There's more, look, there's two coming through the atmosphere now. Are they going to go... Oh, there's a couple more have appeared for no reason. Oh, they dived off. Let's have a look at these next couple, these next few coming down while we're talking here, and let's see what happens to them. Keep your eyes on it, guys. Keep your eyes on it. Alright. Let's see what happens to these. Ready? Oh, that one's dropping down. Oh, no. She's going for full in. It's going full in. It's going to crash into Earth. No. Oh, we're dead. It's a meteorite. Look. Are you with me? Are you following me? It's all fake. Every part of it. Look, there's loads just appeared and then disappeared. This is where you get two images lapping over each other where it hasn't been. Oh, there's two coming right in. Look, they're going to hit us. They're going right in. Whoa. You see what I mean, guys? This is just all fake. Every part of it. Here's the stars again that don't do nothing. Is this even supposed to be moving? Or is this... Have they froze? Doesn't really matter. So you get the idea of what green screen does. You're probably thinking, so what about the weightlessness of them? Well, that's done with zero gravity airplanes.
station.
Look at this. Wow. Are you going to be okay, or?
You know, they reach a certain altitude, okay? And then they just drop down. And it's within that drop, which I think it lasts about a minute or something, half a minute. Within that drop, they're weightless. And everything else, the water, the Maltesers, the marbles, whatever it is weightless. So they may do 4 or 5 different shoots and then edit it all together to make it look like somebody's flying around the space station. Now, see, within this zero gravity airplane, and there's not just one, I'm sure they have a few of them. They have replicated in the back of the airplane the actual area where you always see them sitting in the International Space Station. You know, where they're always standing there talking with the microphones and knocking apples around and stuff like that, okay? So the whole back of that airplane is simulated to look like that. So when they do their zero and they're all dressed up in their stuff and all the lighting's perfect and all the lights are secured so they don't move and the cameramen are secured, but the camera's secured and everything's secured, they go into free fall and they float around and apples are flying around and stuff like that. Now, on some of the other scenes, they do it just like the way I did it. Okay, they can also teleport 3D objects. So somebody can teleport, say, a mobile phone, for example, and have it spinning around on their computer. But they can transcribe that over onto the effects of the green screen. So it looks like it's floating past the guy and he's told on which square to touch it. The screens are gridded and they're numbered. So say, for example, it's 1 to 10. 1 to 10. So it'll be 3, 4. So it's 3 grids down, 4 grids across. So he'll be told, right, so this is all gridded for him. And he'll be told that's where you place your hand. So he'll take a quick look and he'll see the grid. And he knows his hand needs to be here. And that's where the telephone will be teleported to, if that makes sense. Graphically teleported to that area. And it'll be spinning around, coming in. And he'll be getting told in his ear, no, take it now. And he'll just do this. Or push it, or whatever the case may be. That's how they do it on most of the occasions. But on some of the more dramatic occasions where they really want to make it look like there's multiple people floating, and there's no doubt that they're floating, their hair is floating and everything else, and there's stuff flying around and spinning, that's done in the zero gravity planes that they use. It's as simple as that. It really is as simple as that. It's easy to achieve. You can see them on the airplanes. You've just seen them. It's an easy achievement. All of it is a scam, my friends, and I strongly suggest that you do all your own research, and I strongly suggest that you go onto the ISS live feeds and watch it. I guarantee it, you'll see the same clouds coming over, or you'll see what you've just seen here. You'll see stars going down into the atmosphere, right? And it's not going behind the atmosphere because we've seen it coming through the atmosphere and actually on the Earth, where the Earth is supposed to be. So it's an overlap of images. Overlap of video images. It's quite clearly, and I just got this in literally 10 minutes. I watched your woman and her fake wires, and then I seen this, and I thought, my God, if you were to sit for 20 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour, I guarantee you'll go, this is not real. It's not real. It's not real. No satellites, no twinkling stars, nothing. No thunderstorms, and we should see thousands of them. You should see them all flashing all over the Earth. None of that. Now, there is videos of thunderstorms on Earth, but these videos are taken at high altitude. And again, you don't see all of Earth. You just see a section of Earth. And they always use what's called a fisheye lens to distort it, to make it bend like this, to give it the impression that there's a curve, there's a curvature to Earth. There is no curvature to Earth. And this is what we're going to be getting into next. Because this whole video has been leading up to NASA being nothing but frauds and fakes. And I think I've shown that. I've shown you a couple of quick videos that I took. And you've seen other people's videos, and you've seen clips as well from NASA. And you've seen how the zero gravity airplane does what it does. And you've seen how easily it was for me to achieve with just a basic green screen that I got on eBay for £8. So you've seen everything. We know where the Masons come from. Now, I know this is a long video, but let me cast your mind all the way back to the start and the pledge that they made with Lucifer. And that's all of them. There's no exceptions. There's 0 exceptions. So now we're going to move on to things that NASA have said that contradict what they've told us. So we see all the ball earth, and we see all their images, which are all fake. We can see all the CGI imagery, which is all fake. My friends, please do not insult my intelligence by trying to explain any of this. Please don't. I'm a professional artist. I understand what way things work. I understand what way light works, which way shapes work, and objects, perspective, depth. Please do not insult my intelligence. So this is all fake. I touched on this earlier in the video. It's basically hiding God, because if they admit that the earth is stationary, okay, that it's not moving at all, if they admit that it's plane level, meaning it's not a ball, it's plane level, and that they cannot get out of it because of the firmament. Now we're going to get into the firmament and what the Bible says about the firmament further up in the video. I don't want to add God yet. God's going to come at the end, where I show you all the biblical scripture that suggests and supports a flat earth. Some say essentially that the Bible is a cosmological book, biblical cosmology, and all the biblical cosmology doesn't say anything about us being an insignificant speck in a vast universe. It says that we are the center of God's creation. We are the center, and that the heaven evolves around us, and that we're stationary. And the Bible tells us this right throughout the Bible. It talks about the firmament that's been placed in the midst of the waters to separate the waters below from the waters above. All this is in Genesis. It's also mentioned that the moon and the sun are of similar size, basically the same size. The lesser light for nighttime and the greater light for the day. And that they run their circuit. So the sun runs its circuit around us. We don't move. And this is according to the Bible. So we're going to see what NASA have to say about this. About 7 years ago, NASA were put under extreme pressure to release their declassified documents. Not all of them, of course, but ones that wouldn't be considered, if people knew, big deal. But they didn't reckon for people going through them and word by word for word for word. Now, these documents are from NASA themselves, the CIA, the military, Russia, and they span over many decades. We're talking from the 40s onwards. So when they were doing all these tests, flight tests and for missiles and for airplanes and flight dynamics and things like this, this is what they wrote down. And then it was kept hidden, it was classified for years, and then it was declassified relatively recently. And people like me and other people got stuck into them. We see clearly what they all say. We'll bring up the first lot of papers. These are NASA declassified documents. They're from the NASA official website. There's nothing fraud about them. I have all the links to these papers. If anybody doubts my word, I can give you all the links to these papers. Not a problem. Absolutely not a problem. It's to their official website. So when you click on any of the links that I send you, it's going to bring you to NASA's official website. You go into their archives. Once you're in their archives, you look for declassifieds. Once you're in the declassifieds, then you look for their declassified flight dynamic papers, and you'll get all of these. Start with this, right? The government admits flat earth, document 2. I don't have document 1. Maybe I do it somewhere else. Propagation of electromagnetic fields over a flat earth. That doesn't prove anything in particular, okay? But there's the number down there. That will bring you to NASA's official website, and you'll see this opening sort of paper for yourself. It was February 2001. I said some of these papers have been getting declassified over the years, but there was a bulk of them declassified in 2015. Now, I'm going to see if I can put this on. Yeah, I can make this a little bit bigger. Now, I'm not going to read all of these, guys. Just read the parts where it says flat and rotating Earth. Right? Now, these are equations of motions. Now, I've had people arguing with me saying, it doesn't mean that, blah, 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 blah. We'll get to that in a minute. Multipath model, figure 6 illustrates a simple model for multipath, which is based upon a signal having a signal bounce on a flat Earth, and propagation that is described as ray tracing for signals and blah, blah, blah. Document 27. This is again, government admits flat Earth, okay? And there's the website link there for it. Right. Rigid body equations of motion referenced with an arbitrary fixed point on the body. I think they're talking about bodies of aircrafts here. In this paper, the rigid body equation of motion over a flat, non-rotating Earth are developed, blah, blah, blah. So there's another paper saying a flat, and this one in addition is saying non-rotating. So it's saying it's flat and it's not rotating. Now you can pause these and read them all yourself, guys. I'm not reading them out for you. They've all been meticulously went through. I'll be here for hours, okay? Now here's a figure, comparison of measured propagation loss over flat Earth. Document 13, right? And again, the website's down there. There's nothing in here shady about anything, right? Government admits development of violation from helicopter, right? Case file copies, okay, that's NASA. Right, United States Army, okay? There we go, United States Army. This A5 plots the fields over a conductive flat Earth. A conductive flat Earth. Now, I want to get to the nuts and bolts of it, right? This model works over a flat Earth and non-turbulent atmosphere, right? A flat Earth and a non-turbulent atmosphere. Do you know what a non-turbulent atmosphere means? It means that the Earth is not spinning against the atmosphere, if that makes sense. If the Earth is spinning this way but the clouds are going this way, there's going to be conflict there. There's going to be friction. Well, this is saying a non-turbulent atmosphere. So they're saying there's nothing happening up there except for wind. That's it. It's stationary. It's not spinning. Right, conclusions. I'm not reading all this again, guys. Read it yourselves. I'll hold it there so you can pause it and read it for yourself. By adding attenuation to the theory of loss over flat Earth. Okay. And the first part of the above expression, this is at the bottom. The first part of the above expression is the predicted path loss over flat Earth. Predicted path loss. Within the progress, the nonlinear equations of motion include 12 states representing a rigid aircraft flying in a stationary atmosphere over a flat, non-rotating Earth. It's giving you all three there. I'll read that again. A rigid aircraft flying over a stationary atmosphere over a flat, non-rotating Earth. Stationary atmosphere, so there's nothing up there moving other than clouds and wind, but the Earth is not moving. It repeats that again when it says non-rotating Earth. So there's no rotating atmosphere, there's no rotating Earth, and then it mentions quite clearly a flat Earth. And this is NASA. Again, NASA paper. And again, a flat non-rotating Earth. Okay, again, pause it, read it yourself. Propagation of electromagnetic fields over a flat Earth. A non-rotating flat Earth. A non-rotating flat Earth should never, non-rotating and flat should never be in anything that's based on a heliocentric model. I've had people saying they just use that because it's this. Listen, it shouldn't be there. Absolutely. They are basing everything on a flat, non-rotating Earth. Now we're going to get to that because there's a couple of words where further up in these where people have attacked me and says, no, that doesn't mean that. It absolutely does, my friend. You're looking at it in black and white. You're looking at it from people that were up there and that know. You don't sit down here and tell me that that's wrong. NASA again. The report details the development of linear model of a rigid aircraft of constant mass flying over a flat, non-rotating Earth. Point mass modelling, non-turbulent atmosphere, zero side forces, and a non-rotating Earth. Again, NASA. Document 29. Document 14. Document 17. Again, equations of motion. Blah, 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 blah. In a body axis with respect to a flat, non-rotating Earth. With respect to a flat, non-rotating Earth is assumed. Oh yeah, that's the one, right? It is assumed. Somebody says to me, it's just an assumption. I'm going to show you now what assumption means. Take a moment and read that. Okay? So you get that? You all get that? That's what assumption means. I've never had an argument back from anybody that's tried to say it's only an assumption. Yeah, assumption literally means that's it. That you can only assume that it's this. So they can only assume that the earth is flat and non-rotating. They can only assume that because that's what they see. That's what they've tested. That's what the results are. This is the real science aspect. It's been tested, repeated, falsified. And it's on the papers. This is what they're saying. And they've been up there, remember, we're talking about Russia here, the CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency, the military, NASA. This report derives and defines the set of linearized systems, matrices for a rigid aircraft of constant mass flying in a stationary atmosphere over a flat, non-rotating Earth, both generalized and standard linear systems. All of their systems can only work on a flat, non-rotating and no atmosphere up there, Earth. What they're trying to tell you, the atmosphere and this sphere and that sphere, and then there's the Van Allen belt, and this is where, oh, man, it's all lies. Comparison of measurements to the theory of transmission loss over flat Earth for a range of 410 meters. Whatever. A flat non-rotating Earth. Or this one just says over a flat Earth, okay? And this is the United States military. Right, so this is the US Air Force. Brown University. Atmosphere above a flat Earth. In most of the topics to be discussed, the problem is to describe the sound field of region over an atmosphere above a flat Earth. Document 29, page 18 of 234. Just to show you that these are all legit, guys. These are not fake. And as I said, if anybody wants any of the links. Right, so, okay, NASA again. Equations with stationary atmosphere and flat, non-rotating Earth assumption. So I think this is the actual paper that somebody jumped on me. Yeah, it's only an assumption that it's flat and non-rotating. And I sent them the standard meaning for assumption. And we know what that is now. Flight dynamics of a rigid aircraft flying in a stationary atmosphere over a flat, non-rotating Earth. And that's NASA. And I'm trying to get this for you. Document 17, page 13. It's to help you out if you want to go and look for these. Document 1, government admits flat Earth. Government admits flat Earth, blah, blah, blah. Ah, this one's interesting. Now, this is when they were talking about the sun being near. Now, this is just a diagram. I'm going to show you the paper in just a second. But this is their own diagram. This is the diagram that they drew up. It shows you a near located sun, near localized sun. So there's the sun there, right? It's not so far up. And then it shows you the crepuscular rays, okay, coming through the clouds. And this is what we observe. And we always observe a local sunspot as well. And yeah, it's over a flat Earth. Right, so this is United States Navy. So they must be talking about stuff they do in the water. Assuming a flat Earth and a straight line of sight. Assuming again, we know what assume means. Why would you ever need to have flat Earth written into anything that has a heliocentric model for its base, for anything that you're going to be doing for flight dynamics and for anything else like this? Okay, NASA. There you go, NASA. Document 7, page 55. Based on an assumption of systematic mass distributions, acrodynamics, and a straight and level flight. Well, that doesn't really tell us much. Well, it does tell us a lot, but it doesn't like say in your face flat, non-rotating Earth, but a straight and level flight. And we're going to get to that. A straight and level flight. If this is the Earth, okay, and this is an airplane, and it takes off on its runway, okay, if it was to keep going straight, it would just fly off the Earth. It would need to keep nosing down as it flies around the Earth, nosing down, nose down, nose down, and so forth. Pilots don't do that. They've got a gyroscope, and it naturally just balances out on the screen. And this is what this is talking about. This is just straight and level flight. That's ever been observed. That's all we ever feel when we're on an airplane. We don't feel it nosing down. Doesn't matter. You would need to nose down 8 inches every mile. That's what their own calculations. They have a calculator online, and basically it's a curvature calculator. So you can go and Google that, curvature calculator, and you can type in, say, 5 miles, and it'll tell you what the curvature should be if it was a big ball. What the curvature should be for 5 miles. So it's 8 inches per squared mile. So that means Divis Flats, or famous flats in Belfast, for about a mile away from me, they should be tilted away by 8 inches. It's not happening. I don't see that from any point of the city or any of the taller buildings. Nothing happens like that ever. You don't see that happening. But it's supposed to happen. It's supposed to be 8 inches per squared mile. Right, so this is saying here about straight flight. And that's all. That's the truth, because that's all that can be observed. It doesn't matter how powerful your military is and how much money you have. You cannot fake the reality. And the reality is that it's flat, plain level, stationary, and it's got no atmosphere moving around up there above us at all. The local trees and brush can cause such variations. After the data were inspected, it became apparent that they tended to agree with the theory given to the equation 2, plus some fixed or attenuation, and therefore allowed us to develop an analytical expression based on a flat earth theory. They based their analysis based on a flat earth theory, because that's basically all that they could do. There's no other way to do it. Kansas University. So NASA again, and this is Kansas University. A flat, non-rotating Earth. US Air Force. Radio waves over flat Earth. Brown University. NASA again. Stationary atmosphere and flat, non-rotating Earth. Assumption. So this is the one that backs up the last one that I showed you, is the with the sun, the near sun. They're saying that it's a near sun, that the sun is near. Now this is what the Bible tells us as well. It doesn't say it's near, but it doesn't tell us it's in space, and it tells us it's the same size as the moon. So when you look at the moon, it looks very, very near, but we've learned that it is near, because they told us they can't leave low Earth orbit. The moon is no way is 250,000 miles away. That's baloney. And there's no way is the sun 93 million miles away, and they're telling you here. Investigation of the scattering of light in the Earth's atmosphere, right? And then at the bottom, brightness of the firmament. Now remember that word, brightness of the firmament. The firmament is mentioned in the Bible. It's mentioned in Genesis 1:6 when God says he placed the firmament in the midst of the waters to separate the water below from the water above. To separate the waters below from the waters above. So there's a firmament. Okay, that's the firmament. So there's water above the firmament and there's water below, which is the land water where we live on. And there's a firmament that we can see through. But we'll get to the firmament. A model frequently used is that of a flat, non-rotating Earth. NASA, Georgia Tech, and the US Air Force. A model frequently used is that of a flat, non-rotating Earth. The most one can profitably simplify the problem is to consider an isothermal atmosphere, plane level surfaces, and a non-rotating Earth as input to a flat Earth. This report documents the derivation and definition of linear aircraft model for a rigid aircraft of constant mass flying over a flat, non-rotating Earth. And that's NASA again, and it's document 7, page 102. United States Army again, for a flat Earth theory. She gets quite boring after a while. It was like at the start of this video when I was showing you all about the Freemasons, and we were just going after Freemason after Freemason. Aircraft landing model. The Earth is flat and non-rotating. The aircraft trajectory, at the bottom there, the last paragraph, the aircraft trajectory model employed in this study was derived based on the following assumptions. The Earth is flat and non-rotating. They are telling you there the Earth is flat and non-rotating. Yeah, this is the one that was to do with the sun being close, okay? The near sun halo of a flat Earth. On the assumption of a flat Earth, near sun. They can only assume there's a near sun on a flat Earth because this is what all they've observed. This is all they can see. And this is Russia, man. Russia. Central Intelligence Agency also. When you see the two flags, it means that the papers were dilly-dally between both of them. Flat Earth approximation provides the best estimate. Flat Earth. US Army. Guys, I'm going to leave it there with the papers because I'll be here all day with these. Seriously, there's hundreds of them and they all basically saying the same thing. So it's clear that they're telling you straight to your face. They've been telling us straight to our face. They haven't and cannot leave this planet. Heliocentrism is a lie. It's a religion. Almost a religion now. And believe me guys, I'm not sitting here arrogant. I was indoctrinated too. I believed in all of it. I believed in all of it. And the way they did it obviously was through film and cinema. Constantly brainwashing people with Universal Studios, with the Earth, and then you see the Universal logo and Earth spinning all the time. When you see the weather, they show you the sort of, you know, curved off on the map. It's constant. It's constant. I knew when I was a kid. I remember asking my mum. I says, "Are we inside the Earth or outside the Earth?" Because it was something that my brother had said, my big brother. And she says, "We're in the Earth. What do you mean?" And I went, I knew it. And she sort of looked at me and she says, "What do you mean?" And I says, "We're in the Earth." And what I was trying to explain to her was basically that the Earth was flat. This is what I sensed as a kid. I think I was about 5, 6. That the Earth was flat, okay? And that the round part that we see is over the top of us like this, right? But we're not actually on the Earth as in a ball. We're not on it, because this is what I couldn't understand as a kid. How can we be on the Earth if it's a ball? What about the people underneath? So I knew this as a 5, 6-year-old boy. And when my mum says, "No, we are," and she told me her heliocentric conditioning, God bless her, because it wasn't her fault. It happened to everybody. I was confused. I really was. It took me a few years to get my head around that. And then the more I looked at the Earth and the ball, the more I just believed it. And then you're seeing all these things and space films and space adventures and kids cartoons, and it's Disney and it's Hollywood. And that's what their job was to do. The other part of Disney, which is NASA, is to convince you that it's real. And they use all the animation skills that were taught to them by Disney. So this is how it's done. You've been brainwashed. One of the hardest things for me was to realize this, that I'd been brainwashed. But now, 5 to 7 years on, I'm glad I know all of this stuff. I'm glad I know. Now, in the last section, we're going to move on to what God has to say about his creation. And then I think when you understand what God has to say about his creation, you'll understand why these snakes would want to lie. You have to remember that Satan turns everything upside down. God says it was sin that brought death into the world. And evolution tells us that it was death that brought man into the world, because lots of things had to die for us to be here. We survived the fittest. We are the fittest. And a lot of things had to die for us to be here. So death brought man into the world. And God is telling us that it was sin that brought death into the world. So this last section is going to be biblical cosmology and what the Bible has to say about God's creation.